What is going on, guys? We're here with the man, Connor. He's been a student for a while now. I think he joined like 8 months ago, somewhere around there. Absolutely killing it though. He's gonna kind of tell you guys about Thumber and his like entire process when it comes to switching from his corporate sales job into high ticket sales, how he went from an appointment setter making 15K a month to now being a closer making over like 30K a month right now, for a pretty big offer in this space. But yeah, man, Connor, good to have you on.
Yeah, no, it's pleasure being back. I feel like we did the last interview not too long ago, but it's kind of scaled pretty quickly now, so it's good
Yeah,
stuff.
here's the thing. We did an interview like 3 months ago, just like this one, where Connor is making 15K a month. But then literally a month later, he doubled it to 30K a month. So now it's like, all right, we gotta refilm it.
Rerun it.
But yeah, bro, give everyone some context, like where you start, like first off, where you from, like what you were doing, like your background, and yeah, just kind of give everyone an idea of where you started out.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I'm from Minnesota, lived here basically my whole life. Moving down to Tampa next week, actually. So be quite a bit of change, but with networks, connections, online space, just makes the most sense. But previously, I did some like caddying, like car sales stuff previously a few years ago, and then I was in corporate doing like quality assurance stuff. I'm sure a lot of people have seen like the BDR, SDR work. So basically similar to like high ticket in a sense, but more prospecting. So doing like emails, cold calls, LinkedIn stuff, and then joined Thumber. I believe it was August 31st or September 1st. I
Yeah, I
can't
think I
remember
think you got
the
like onboarded September 1st. Yeah, I
yeah,
remember it.
I can't remember the exact day. So what, 7, 8, 9 months ago now.
Hmm.
But then started off setting, kind of worked my way from there, all the way up till closing. Started full time closing in like February or March this year. And then just been going with it ever since. But I've never really offer hopped. I've been on the same offer basically my whole time.
That's awesome. And tell me more about like your job, because like what you were doing was obviously like sales as well, a different type of sales. You were selling to like corporate executives and stuff. What did that kind of look like, and what exactly like were you selling exactly, and why'd you want to switch from what you were doing to high ticket sales, selling for info products? Like what really caused you to want to switch?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was just like the time, financial, and location freedom. I know that sounds like cliche, but like from a 9 to 5, I was basically doing the same stuff. So, like outreaching, prospecting, like setting meetings initially, having like the rep hop on, whatever. And then from that, I mean, the pay was like decent. I mean, I was making a little below 6 figures, which was fine. But at the same time, like getting into the online space, it's kind of the same thing as well as you're selling B2C. So like the buying cycles aren't nearly as long. They're like
Mm.
1 or 2 days max. And then transitioning from that, now I can set my own availability. I can travel. I can take calls whenever, wherever. And then as of the last few months, making right around 30K a month. So I mean
Jeez.
that's what, like 4 or 5x yearly income within a few
That's
months.
insane. And you fully quit your job, right? When did you like realize like, okay, because like a lot of people make money with this, right? But then they're like,
Yeah.
I'm scared this isn't consistent. Like, what actually made you be like, all right, I can literally just quit my job and I'll be fine? Because I know you quit
Yeah.
your job pretty recently. Like, what actually was it that caused you to realize you can just go ahead and quit your job?
Yeah. I transitioned a little over like a month and a half ago. I think the biggest thing was like I was making right around like 15, 20K a month consistently. So I gave
Mhm.
it like a month or two, knew like the revenue was coming in, obviously. And then from that, since I was already like 4 or 5xing my income on the monthly end, I was like, there's no reason as to why stay in the corporate world when I can
Yeah.
just take calls, make a ton more money, set my own hours. And then looking back at that, to now, it's like I just wanted to get to a point where I knew it was consistent. I have opportunity to scale because you can obviously always make more money with sales. You can take on other offers, you can scale, manage, do like the marketing side of things too. So there's plenty of
100%.
opportunity and everything along those lines.
Yeah. And how'd you actually like find us? Because I remember on funny story, the way Connor actually joined Thumber Academy in the first place and the way we met is he DM'd me on Twitter saying like pitching me to be like my copywriter, right? But like, what did you try in the past in terms of online business, and like what was it? Because I know like nothing else really worked out. What was it that made this worked out as opposed to like all the other stuff you've tried, and like what were the other things you tried?
Yeah. So I obviously like looked into like the drop shipping e-com stuff, but
Mhm.
with like ads, inventory costs, like the amount of time it actually takes. I mean, it's more than a full-time job.
Oh yeah.
I did some like day trading and stuff, but that's more like long term rather than just staring at the market every day.
Mhm.
But I did, obviously outreach to you initially, and I still do like copywriting just
Mhm.
because I mean, marketing and sales is basically the same thing, and
Oh
you can
yeah.
obviously like scale offers from the marketing and sales perspective, whether you're doing it through outreach or actually talking to people. But sales was like the first thing I 100% like committed to and put like the time, effort, work in. And ever since that, I mean, the more work you put in, you're going to see results. It's like the
Mhm.
gym, right? If you go to the gym every day, you're going to get more fit. So just like making that same like commitment and discipline, knowing it's going to work, I'm going to get the results I want. Kind of fast forwarded to now. So doing marketing, sales, kind of like all throughout the info space.
Oh yeah, 100%. The thing is too, like a lot of people they try all these business models, right?
Mhm.
Like e-com, whatever it is. All these business models that these people are trying, they need the skill of marketing and sales. Same thing with
Mhm.
copywriting. You can't close any copywriting clients for a good amount of money unless you know how to sell, unless you know the sales process, appointment setting,
Yeah.
closing. So without that skill, the best copywriter is the one that know how to close. And you know that very well because we'll go into
Yeah.
that in a sec, but Connor
Mhm.
closes for copywriting and for a product. Cardinal Mason, he makes a lot of money doing that. But once you actually found me and we hopped on a call, right? Obviously, like I brought you through everything, I showed you everything.
Yep. Of
What really was it? Because obviously, there's a lot of people that teach what we do, right? I'm not gonna hide it. A lot of people teach what we do.
course.
Um, what was it about us in particular at the time I was 17, Russell was 16, that actually made you want to go ahead and like join up and invest in yourself and put in the time to actually make it work out? Like, what was it exactly that stood out to you?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was like obviously to your point, there's a ton of people teaching every business model, not just sales out there. But like there's obviously a lot of sales programs and everything. And they have a ton of students inside of there. And initially looking like I saw you guys having a lot of success and there weren't like as many students. So
Hmm.
a lot of people would say it's like saturated, but in a sense, I like that it wasn't saturated just
Yeah.
because it's like there were a lot of students seeing results. You guys still had the direct, like one on one coaching as well as the placement. So that's how I landed my first offer within, I think it was like 2 weeks or so
Yeah,
through
it
like
was pretty
networking.
quick.
I had to do some outreach. But other than that, the placement was good. Obviously, the group one on one calls. And then just like it wasn't like too many people. There were more, it was more hands-on guidance directly rather than
Hmm.
kind of just, shoveling a video course or something. So I found those things to be like the most beneficial, to be honest.
Yeah, 100%. And like with the onboarding process in particular, like obviously like with you, like and some people we do this where we let them like kind of start for a couple $100 or for free and just pay
Mhm.
us back like with the profits as they go.
Yeah.
I know you went that route, but at the same time, like you're still spending money. Like what really was it? Because some people have like a crazy fear of investing themselves. Oh, this is a scam. It's online. I'm not buying it. Like what really was it that made you feel safe and like, oh, this is like an investment that I know is going to get me a return in the long run?
Yeah. I mean, there were kind of two sides to it. Like one of which was everything was in place for me to see results, like the coaching, the placement, the community, the one-on-one calls. So everything was then there from your guys' perspective to provide me with obviously that assurance that I was going to see results. And then it was the same thing, like to your point, a lot of people have like fear, scam, like going about investing, but it's like people call the gym a scam. It's just because they don't go to the gym. Like it's the
Yeah.
same thing. Like if you put in the work, you actually grind, like follow the process, you're going to get the results you want. So it was kind of your guys' end. Everything was there. I just had to show up and actually put in the work to make it happen.
100%. And then after we actually got you in, like, how quickly did we like start doing one-on-one calls with you, access to the group calls, get you trained up? And how was that training like? Like, did you like it? Like, what were your thoughts on it? Feedback on the actual training, just to kind of give people a look that might be looking into this at possibly joining what the actual training itself would look like. Because obviously, I tell everyone, like, you're not just going to join, get on an offer, make 10K your first month. Not
Of
going to
course.
happen. You obviously got to train up first. So what was like the training like, and what would you think of it?
Yeah, I got onboarded within probably 10 minutes. So I got access to the initial like videos, kind of breaking everything down, building up the foundation skill set. And then I got access to the community group coaching, one-on-one coaching on that call as well. So I mean, it was pretty immediate as to already starting, and then obviously being able to attend the group calls, already starting outreach and everything. So it wasn't like many business models where there's like you have to set up your account, LLC, all that for like 2 to 4 weeks. It was basically right away as far as like everything's within the day.
Yeah, 100%. And like the cool thing with this is like you can kind of go at your own pace, right? Like, you can literally practice whenever you want, right? It's not like
For
starting
sure.
Amazon FBA, like you said, where you need to wait till the LLC arrives and you need to wait
Yeah.
to get your account approved by Amazon and all this stuff. Same thing with drop shipping and all those other business models. But for you in particular, like what part of like the program, whether it's like the one-on-one coaching, the group coaching, like our A to Z video course, or even like the placement, right? Like we put you on the opportunity you're on now, we connected you with the person. Like what part in particular do you think was like the most beneficial to you?
I would probably say, to be honest, like just having the direct access to you guys. I mean, one-on-one coaching, group coaching, you're always available, so you could hop on calls, shoot you a message anytime, and then obviously the placement. That makes it easiest for everyone, to be honest. So, you guys aren't left with students who aren't on offers, but it also provides the students that have the skill set, have the foundation to be able to make money and get offered placement right away. So it's kind of a win-win for both perspectives.
Yeah, 100%. And when it comes to like the framework and everything, I know you were an SDR, basically an appointment setter for your
Mhm.
corporate job. What was kind of the differences that you saw between like the high ticket sales space, selling info products, when it comes to the actual appointment setting itself? Like the difference between the corporate and the high ticket sales space. Like what were some differences? And
Yeah.
like was it easy to transition?
For sure. I mean, appointment setting was pretty simplistic. Just like DMs rather than like actually cold calling, doing emails, outreach. It was all inbound, so you don't have to like outbound dial anyone. They're basically just sitting in the inbox. They're warm leads. So as long as you have like some common sense as to like what you should be messaging them back and have some sales background to know like how to move the conversation forward, you're basically just sitting in the person's DMs and able to not only move the conversation forward, get those appointments set, and make commission from there.
100%. So I know you did DM setting and then you made the most money with phone setting as well.
Mm-hmm.
So how quickly when we connected you with the offer you're on now, it's copywriting offer. They do a lot of money. They sell
Yeah.
like they teach people how to do copywriting and Connor does copywriting himself as well, so it works perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, how easy was it going from getting the training, right? Like getting trained up, understanding the framework, understanding exactly how it works to getting like basically connected with an interview, like on a silver platter, and then going ahead and getting the job. Like, what was that process like? What was the interview like? And then how did you go ahead and get onboarding the offer? Like, what did that kind of look like?
Yeah. So took about like 2 weeks or so, got the first placement, excuse me. Then had like a initial interview with the sales manager there. Was pretty straightforward, nothing like a corporate interview. Basically kind of just fucking around.
Yeah.
Answering some questions, a little bit about your sales experience and everything there. But other than that, had the initial call, then had like a second onboarding call, basically to just get everything set up. You're on the team, make sure like all the operations logistics are good,
Yeah.
and then basically from there started right away. I started with phone setting, as you mentioned, so was doing some dials along those lines, setting
Mhm.
appointments, everything there, and then ultimately transition to closing full time as well.
Awesome. Cool. So another thing too, um, is like I know when you were working your corporate job, you're working with like a lot older people.
Yeah,
I know it was a lot more like formal.
yeah,
Whereas in the online space, like your offer owner that makes like a little under a million a month
yeah,
is like in his 20s, right? And the sales
yeah,
manager was 19 at the time. I was
yeah,
17, Russell was 16. So
right.
like it's a lot different of a space. It's less formal, but like everyone makes more money. Like we fuck around more, but I feel like everyone just makes more money than like the corporate side.
Yeah, by
But
far.
what was that kind of like the difference as in like cultural dynamic, like with the team meetings, whatever it is when you're on the offer as opposed to your corporate like sales job?
I mean, it's completely different. Like usually you're speaking with people from like 19, even as low as like 16, 17, typically all the way up to like 27, 28 is usually who's within the space. So
Yeah.
it's completely different aspect. There's no like formal professionalism. I mean, it's pretty free going.
Yeah.
Basically can, I don't want to say do what you want, but have that time freedom. You don't obviously have anyone breathing down your neck. Because everyone's young. Like everyone's like wants to get to the money. They want to build their business, build their brand. They don't want to stay, stuck in the same position, kind of climbing the corporate ladder. They obviously want to build their own business online. And with the amount of money out there right now, it's pretty crazy just being in the space for 8 months and already scaling to the income I am now.
Oh yeah, it's literally. I don't know anything else. There's no 9 to 5 you can get. There's nothing
No,
you can get where within 8 months of literally just getting started
no,
in it, you started off like knowing nothing about
yeah.
how it worked to making. I mean, what was your best month so far in the space? Like, what was the best month in commission that you've made? Like straight profit.
Yeah, so I mean that's the nice thing with sales too. It's like 100% profit. You don't
Yeah,
have any margins. You don't have any cost. The biggest month was like just shy of 30K.
that's
I
insane.
mean, continuing moving forward, it's only going to go up like 30, 40,
100%.
50, 100K.
And literally
Um,
like 3 months ago was
yeah,
15K. So
yeah.
you're
It's like
growing
doubling your
pretty
income
rapidly.
going from zero online to 30K in like 7, 8 months. I
Yeah,
mean, any other corporate job, you're at least in the same position for a year, if not 2 years,
yeah.
and you're not making good money.
That's
It's like
insane. So how was it? Because I know. So how long did you do appointment setting for on Mason's offer? So I know your phone setting. How long did you do that for? And what was that? What was that like?
so I did that for about 5 months, 4 or 5 months, give or take.
Hmm.
And then have been closing now for the last 3 or 4. So being full time closer now, on calendar calls most of the day. So that was kind of
Awesome.
the transition as far as like setting straight to closing.
Yeah. And how? What was your top month like? Just straight appointment setting? Because that's like everyone's gonna have to be an appointment setter at some point, right? It's how you learn. All the best closers are at some point appointment setters. So what was your best month in commission? Just setting calls.
Yeah, straight appointment setting was probably right around like 8 to 10K, which
Hmm.
is pretty high for appointment setting since
Yeah.
you're only usually getting like 5% comms. But then slowly did setting as well as taking my own calls. So kind of transition, got to like the 15K a month mark. And then ever since like peer closing, it's been like 20, 22, 25, 30. So it's only going up from there.
100%. And how easy was it? Obviously, like there's a bigger skill gap when you go closing, right? It's a lot more
Right.
difficult. It's a lot more things you have to know. How did the training kind of help you transition, right? Like what kind of helped you transition from setting to closing?
I think the biggest thing was just like training, leveraging the appointment setting because if you're on the phones, it's kind of the same thing. You just have to master the skill of sales. Like obviously have a good framework, know how to speak with people, have that set in stone. And then basically the transition from setting to closing is a lot of just objection handling, like
Hmm.
having good managers, on your offers, right? Them providing you with the skill set, obviously investing in yourself, joining different programs, so you're learning from people who are already closing, have that experience. So when you do get on calls, obviously nothing's just thrown at you that you won't be aware of. You've obviously practiced it, you've mocked, so you already
100%.
have that experience. So basically, just putting it all together and becoming good throughout, whether that's discovery, pitching, objection handling, and kind of putting the whole call together.
100%. And like speaking of like mocks and everything, another thing that I think is really important that a lot of people like don't talk about when it comes to like a mentorship and like the benefits they've had is like the networking inside of it. Like I know that
Mhm.
like your boys, the people inside of Thumber Academy. I know you've literally been flown out, like you've gone to Miami to meet
Yeah.
up with the offer owner and to meet up with all the other sales reps on the offer.
Yeah.
Like what does that kind of look like and what is it kind of like the networking aspect that you've been able to have from being within our network? Like what's that been like?
I mean, it's limitless, right? Because everybody in the online space, specifically sales and marketing, like everybody really knows each other. Like there's
Mhm.
not many people that don't know each other, so everything's pretty connected. So like just being able to fly out to Miami, or I was just up in Toronto last week. Like we had an event, so it was up in there. Obviously within the community, we've a lot of different sales coaches, everyone in Thumber now. So there's so many different people you can meet, not only like for work standpoint, but like some of my good friends, like people I speak with on a daily basis, are from the online space. So, I
Yeah.
mean, the networks, connections, and relationships, it's you can't really beat it.
100%. Yeah, I think that's like one of the most important things is like you're the average of the 5 people you hang around. I know it's like cliche to say like you're
Mhm.
the average of 5 people you're always around, but like it's super true. Like if you went ahead and you were still hanging around all the corporate guys that
Mhm.
were 40s, etc., really
Yeah.
old. that's where you'd be, right?
Yeah.
So you got to kind of change your surroundings in order to grow, which you've done, exponent like a crazy amount,
And
30K
now
a
it's like
month.
too, like just being like 30K a month's good, but then there's people around me doing like 30K a day.
Oh yeah.
We're like,
Yeah.
so it's like you can always get more, you can always scale more, build your business even
100%.
more. So
And
it's
there's
just
always
like
bigger
super
fish.
motivating.
There's
Yeah.
always bigger fish out there. And another cool thing too is like you're not gonna stop at closing. Like I know, like you're even telling me like you're looking into like the kind of growth operating, like having
Yeah.
your own info product agency. Guys, once you have the skill of appointment setting, you become a closer. You've got that down. You understand like how these offers work. Like Connor's been on an offer that has been doing 600, 700K a month. So he knows exactly how the sales process works on that. He understands exactly how it works, how to do everything. He can go ahead and take that skill set he now has and monetize it by selling it to other people looking to start their info product offer. He can go ahead, he can take sales reps from Thumber and go ahead and place them. We've had plenty of
Mhm.
students do that as well. So it's really limitless when like the potential growth, right? You don't want to
Yeah.
just be a closer forever, like making 30, 40K a
100%.
month, like that's great. But eventually, like you're gonna be moving into even bigger things, and that's how you're gonna hit your 100K a month, which I definitely think is possible with like the growth you've had so far.
Yeah.
I definitely think within the next like if you grow the same rate you grew from like 3 months ago to
I
three
know.
months from now, you'll definitely be there in no time. But yeah, I'm like, what's your overall like thoughts of the program, right? What would you say kind of to someone that's on the fence about maybe joining Thumber Academy?
Mhm.
Maybe they're scared of investing in themselves or whatever it is. They don't want to put in the time. They don't think it will work. They want to continue trying drop shipping. Like, what would you say to that person that is like maybe a little scared to kind of pull the trigger and take action on something they know that needs to be done? Like, what would you say to
Yeah.
them?
No, I mean, I completely get it. Like, there's always going to be fear and uncomfort in doing something you've never done. But at the same time, you're investing in yourself to build up the skill set to make more money, have more time. So the only way you can actually get there is by investing in yourself, right? So, I mean,
100%.
it's never going to be easy, but at the same time, it's like you have these specific goals, these big dreams, big ambitions, whatever it is. That's never going to be easy. That's why most people never actually achieve that,
Yeah.
right? So, I mean, everything's in place for you to have success, get the results you want. You just have to show up and do the work like anything else.
100%. And I'll be very transparent. I'm very transparent on my YouTube videos. There's some people that join Thumber that don't see success, and it's very clear like what it is that they've done differently is they
Mhm.
haven't put in the work. So like
Yeah.
Connor, I'm sure you've seen like I mean it's pretty rare, but every once in a while we'll have someone just join and not show up to any of the
Mhm.
coaching, not show up any of the training, and they're like, "What happened? I didn't make money." What would you say to that person? Because if you're watching this and you think like this is some like get rich quick thing, where you're
Yeah.
gonna become a
It's not.
millionaire overnight, it's not.
Yeah.
What would you say is important when it comes to being consistent when it comes to this online game? Consistent showing up every day, putting in the work and training. And then, like how many hours a day were you actually putting into like learning the skill? And
Yeah.
now like how many hours a day you're actually putting into taking calls, etc.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's definitely going to take work. Like, I mean, you can't expect good results with not a lot of work.
Yeah.
Like I was working probably 7 a.m. to like 11 p.m. when I first started.
Oh
Like
yeah.
whether it was actually setting, whether it was role plays, mocks, like studying other people in the sales space. And now even when I'm closing, my calendar's open from like 7:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. every day. So like my calendar's full. I'm taking
Yeah.
calls all day. But I mean, that's the only way you're going to get to 20, 30, 40K a month. Like you're never going to get to those numbers if you have like 5 or 6 calls a day. It's basically a mathematical game. Like the more calls you have, the more quality leads you're going to get, the more qualified calls you're going to have, and the more money you're going to make. And the more money you're
100%.
going to make obviously comes with the hours you put in for the skill set because the better you get, the more deals you're going to close.
100%. 100%. You could have the best offer in the world, but if you don't have the skill set
Yeah.
needed to close those deals, there's no
Right.
point. If you hadn't
Yeah.
gotten trained and you got put on an offer, it doesn't matter how good the offer is. A lot of people that already know how this space works, they're not in it yet. They're like, oh, I just need a really good offer and I'll make money. That's not the case.
Mhm.
You just need a very good skill set. And it goes
Yeah.
both ways. You can have a very good skill set, but be on a crappy offer and you're going to make money either. So you
Mhm.
need both very good offer placement, which you've had, and
Yeah.
also very good training, which you've also had. So overall, man, that kind of wraps up the interview. I'm happy to have you on. Hopefully, we
Uh,
can do another one in
yeah.
like 3 months again, ready to
Yeah.
hit your
50
100K
or
a month.
60K.
Yeah, that'd be sick. Um, but yeah, overall, man, like, what would you rate Thumber Academy out of 10? Like, is this something if you could go back to where you first invested in yourself? Like, would you do it again? Would you change anything? What's the overall message to everyone watching the video?
I mean, you can probably guess the answer. No. I mean, I got to 30 in just about 7, 8 months, so
Yeah,
definitely wouldn't change anything. Definitely would join again, obviously, if I had to. But I mean, if you're looking for actual like sales placement, training, proper guidance, it's pretty self-explanatory. I'm not the only one who's come through Thumber. I'm sure you've seen other videos, other people
100%.
doing it as well. So I mean, if you actually do want to put in the work, build up the skill set, investing in yourself is the easiest part.